Sagittarius, stop scrolling for a second. February 2026 is not casual energy for you. It is not random. It is not just another month. This is a structural pivot in your personal timeline. And if you feel that something is building beneath the surface, you are not imagining it. Welcome to Celestial Insight. We are stepping into February 2026, and the universe is moving with precision. The cosmos does not operate emotionally. It operates mathematically, timing, alignment, sequence. And this month, Sagittarius, the structure of the sky, forms a pattern that places you at a crossroads of breakthrough. Now let me mirror what you may already be feeling. You've been restless, not chaotic restless. There's a quiet dissatisfaction with where things have plateaued. Maybe your career has felt steady but uninspired. Maybe relationships feel stable but lacking depth. Maybe you've outgrown a version of yourself that no longer fits, but you haven't yet stepped into the next one. That tension is not confusion. It is preparation. February 2026 begins under a sky that activates your communication and direction sector. Mercury's movement early in the month sharpens perception. Conversations matter now. Words carry consequences. Emails, negotiations, sudden calls, these are not accidental. They are instruments of alignment. This is the first test. Will you react impulsively, Sagittarius? Or will you respond with strategy? Because here is the truth. This phase isn't about speed. It's about awareness. The universe is watching how you respond, not how fast you move. You are a fire sign. Movement is your instinct. Expansion is your language. But February is asking you to refine that fire into focus, to turn scattered sparks into a directed flame. Around the first week of February, settled tension may surface between your desire for freedom and your current responsibilities. This is not a punishment. It is calibration. You are being shown where your energy has been leaking, where you have been saying yes out of habit rather than purpose. And here is the opportunity hidden inside that discomfort. Clarity. If something feels heavy, it is because it no longer matches your future frequency. Mid-month approaches, and Venus begins activating your career and visibility sector. This is powerful. This is attractive energy. You may notice attention increasing, compliments, recognition, even unexpected professional interest. If you have been building something quietly, this is where the universe begins to spotlight it. But be careful. Not all attention is alignment. The test here is discernment. Just because something shines does not mean it is gold. Just because an opportunity appears does not mean it is destiny. Sagittarius, February is about conscious choice. There are crossroads moments embedded in this month. They may look small on the surface conversation you almost ignore, a message you almost delete, a decision you delay. But these are hinge moments, and hinge moments shape doors. Let's talk about the emotional layer. You may feel moments of doubt. Am I behind? Did I miss something? Should I have acted sooner? These thoughts are echoes of old timelines. They are not reflections of your present power. February is not about catching up. It is about positioning forward. The structure of this month supports breakthrough, but breakthrough requires release, and release requires honesty. Where have you been tolerating less than you deserve? Where have you been shrinking to maintain comfort? Where have you been avoiding a conversation because you didn't want to disrupt peace? The cosmos in February 2026 is not disruptive for drama's sake. It is disruptive for alignment. Around the second week, expect a noticeable shift in momentum. Information becomes clearer. A misunderstanding resolves. Or perhaps a truth surfaces that cannot be ignored anymore. This is when you will feel the internal fork in the road. One path feels familiar, safe, predictable. The other path feels uncertain but expansive. Sagittarius, you were not born for small rooms. And here is prophetic insight for you. The breakthrough coming in February will not announce itself loudly. It will begin quietly, disguised as a choice. This is not a month to over-explain yourself. It is not a month to seek validation before acting. It is a month to trust your internal compass, because the universe has been recalibrating it for months. Financially, subtle insight may arrive. A new way to structure income. A side idea that suddenly makes sense. Pay attention to recurring thoughts around money between February 8th and 14th. Those thoughts are not random, they are signals. In relationships, emotional honesty is required. If something feels unbalanced, speak. If something feels aligned, deepen it. Avoid passive silence. February does not reward avoidance. It rewards conscious engagement. Now breathe with me for a second. Close your eyes, even if just for a moment. Imagine yourself at the end of February, standing stronger, clearer, slightly surprised at how one decision shifted everything. That is the energy of this month. You are not being pushed. You are being positioned. The universe runs on structure. February 2026 is a structural adjustment in your timeline. And the more aware you are, the smoother this transition becomes. This is only the beginning. In the next chapter, we're going deeper into the exact crossroads moments and how to recognize them before they pass you by. Sagittarius, now we go deeper. February 2026 is not loud chaos. It is precise pressure, and pressure reveals structure. As we move past the opening days of the month, the cosmic atmosphere tightens around choice. Not dramatic, cinematic choice. Subtle choice. The kind that shows up disguised as an inconvenience, a delay, or a conversation you didn't plan to have. This is where many people miss their breakthrough, because crossroads rarely look like destiny. They look like responsibility. Around February 10th through the 18th, the energy intensifies in your sector of communication, agreements, and direction. You may feel pulled to clarify something that has been sitting in gray space. A contract, a commitment, a relationship dynamic, even your own internal narrative. Here's what's really happening beneath the surface. The universe is asking you to define your next level, and definition requires courage. You may notice impatience rising during this window. Sagittarius, you are naturally future-oriented. You like momentum. But this phase isn't about acceleration. It's about alignment. If something slows down unexpectedly mid-month, do not panic. The slowdown is strategic. This phase isn't about action. It's about restraint. The universe is watching how you respond, not how fast you move. Let's talk about one of the key crossroads themes for you this February. Identity expansion. You are outgrowing a version of yourself. It may be subtle. You may still fit into your daily routine. But internally, you know something no longer matches who you're becoming. This could relate to how you show up professionally, the standards you tolerate in relationships, the way you speak about your own ambitions. Between February 12th and 16th, a moment may arise where you are tempted to shrink back into familiarity. Maybe you downplay your vision. Maybe you soften your boundary. Maybe you say it's fine when it actually isn't. That moment is the hinge. The breakthrough comes when you choose expansion over comfort. And expansion, Sagittarius, often feels uncomfortable at first. Emotionally, you might feel exposed, vulnerable, even slightly misunderstood. That's because your energy is shifting frequency. Not everyone will immediately resonate with the new version of you. And that's okay. February is not about universal approval. It's about personal integrity. Now let's move into career and public visibility. Venus begins influencing your professional sector more strongly mid-month. This brings charm, magnetism, and opportunity. You may notice someone in authority paying closer attention. You may feel inspired to refine your presentation, your brand, or your strategy. But here's the crossroads within the opportunity. Are you chasing validation, or are you building legacy? If you say yes to something purely because it feels flattering, you may find yourself overextended by March. But if you say yes because it aligns with your long-term expansion, this becomes a stepping stone. Discernment is your spiritual assignment this month. Financially, there is a subtle recalibration happening. An idea about restructuring debt, investing differently, or monetizing a skill you've been undervaluing. Between February 14th and 20th, pay attention to any intuitive nudges around money. The universe may whisper before it shouts. Avoid impulsive financial decisions during emotional moments, especially if triggered by comparison. Social media illusions are strong this month. Someone else's highlight reel is not your timeline. Stay grounded in your own path. Relationally, this is where things get interesting. February may reveal where communication has been surface level. If you're partnered, deeper conversations are necessary, not confrontational clarifying. If you're single, someone may enter your orbit who feels stimulating mentally. The connection may begin with conversation before chemistry. But again, crossroads. You open slowly with intention, or do you rush because the spark feels exciting? Sagittarius, you are being tested in pacing. The breakthrough coming is not about intensity. It's about sustainability. Around February 18th, there is a subtle, energetic pivot. Something becomes clear. A decision that felt heavy suddenly feels obvious, or a path you were resisting suddenly feels right. This is alignment locking in. You may feel a quiet confidence rise. Not loud, not boastful, just steady. That's how you know you've chosen correctly. Here's prophetic insight for this phase. If something falls away mid-month, do not chase it. Let it go with dignity. What is meant for your expansion will not require you to abandon your self-respect. Emotionally, you are being strengthened. Spiritually, you are being refined. Practically, you are being positioned. And I need you to understand something important. Breakthrough does not always feel like fireworks. Sometimes it feels like calm certainty. If by the third week of February you notice you're less reactive than usual, that's growth. If you choose silence over argument, that's growth. If you negotiate instead of explode, that's mastery. Sagittarius, February 2026 is training you for a larger arena, and the crossroads moments mid-month determine how prepared you are for what opens next. In the next chapter, we are going to explore how to harness these planetary energies intentionally, not passively. How to align your actions with the cosmic currents so that the breakthrough becomes undeniable. Sagittarius, now we move from awareness into strategy. February 2026 is not a passive month for you. The cosmic structure is active, layered, and intentional. And when the universe activates your chart like this, you do not sit back and hope. You align. You participate. By the time we enter the third week of February, the earlier crossroads have already revealed something about you. Maybe you handled a difficult conversation with unexpected maturity. Maybe you resisted an impulsive decision. Maybe you finally said no where you used to say yes. That was not random growth. That was preparation. Now let's talk about advancement. Venus continues influencing your career and visibility sector throughout this phase, and this is refined magnetism. Not loud, not desperate. Attractive in a composed way. People are watching how you carry yourself. Authority figures are noticing subtle shifts. Even if nothing is publicly announced yet, energy is building behind the scenes. This is where many Sagittarians make a mistake. When opportunity energy rises, the instinct is to overextend, to say yes to everything, to run ahead. But February's lesson is precision. You do not need 10 doors. You need the right door. Between February 20th and 24th, pay close attention to invitations, proposals, or subtle hints about growth. A conversation about a promotion, an idea for a collaboration, an opportunity to step into leadership. It may not look fully formed yet. That's intentional. The universe is testing whether you can see potential before it is packaged perfectly. If something feels aligned but unfinished, ask questions instead of dismissing it. Communication is your tool this month. Mercury's influence earlier in the month sharpened your perception. Now you use it. Clarify expectations. Negotiate terms. Ask for specifics. This is not confrontation. This is maturity. Financially, February is asking you to think long-term. If you've been considering investing in a skill, a certification, a tool that elevates your professional credibility, this is the month to plan strategically. Not emotionally, strategically. Avoid flashy spending. Avoid ego purchases. Especially after February 22nd, when emotional energy may spike briefly. Remember, Sagittarius, wealth is built quietly before it becomes visible. Now, let's shift to your internal alignment. This month is not only about external success. It's about energetic coherence. Are your habits matching your ambition? Are your daily routines supporting the future you claim to want? Because here is a truth many avoid. Manifestation is not a wish. It is a pattern. If you want expansion, your structure must expand. This is an ideal time to refine your mornings. Anchor your mindset. Even something simple, 10 minutes of intentional silence before checking your phone. The universe is sensitive to rhythm. When you create internal rhythm, external rhythm responds. Spiritually, February is asking you to embody authority. Not dominance, authority. There is a difference. Dominance pushes. Authority stabilizes. You may notice that when you speak calmly this month, people listen more. When you state boundaries without anger, they are respected more. This is growth. This is evolution. In relationships, the energy shifts toward depth and evaluation. If you are partnered, conversations about future direction may surface naturally. Travel plans, living arrangements, shared financial goals. Don't avoid these discussions. They are alignment checkpoints. If you are single, someone may appear who mirrors your ambition, not in identical ways, but in intensity. The attraction may feel mental first, stimulating conversation, shared vision, aligned philosophy. But here is the guidance. Move intentionally. This is not a month for rushed declarations. It is a month for observing consistency. The universe is showing you who matches your future, not just your present excitement. Around February 25th, there is a quiet, energetic shift. Something settles. You may feel more grounded than you expected, less reactive, more strategic. That's because the earlier tension has been integrated. You have passed initial tests, and now the breakthrough begins to crystallize. It may come as clarity about a move you're going to make in March, or a green light on a project, or simply the internal realization that you no longer fear the next level. Sagittarius, that internal shift is the real breakthrough, because once fear reduces, action becomes powerful instead of frantic. Here is prophetic insight for this final stretch of February. Do not announce everything you're building. Protect what is still forming. Not everyone needs access to your blueprints. The universe is quietly aligning allies for you. Conversations that seemed casual earlier in the month may reconnect in March with greater significance. Seeds planted now will sprout quickly, but only if you remain steady. Avoid ego-driven conflict. Avoid proving yourself unnecessarily. Your growth will be visible without explanation. February 2026 is teaching you composure under opportunity. That is rare training, and rare training produces rare results. You are not chasing your breakthrough. You are stabilizing into it. In the final chapter, we will bring everything together, navigating with foresight, activating manifestation intentionally, and stepping into the full power of this month's cosmic timing. Sagittarius, this is where it all comes together. We are now moving into the final stretch of February 2026. And if you've been paying attention, you can feel it. Something inside you is different. Not dramatically different. Not loudly transformed, but steadier, sharper, clearer. That is the breakthrough. Not the applause, not the announcement, the internal stabilization. February has been structured. Early month awareness, mid-month crossroads, late month refinement. The universe does not move randomly. It moves in phases. And by the time we approach February 27th and 28th, you are no longer standing where you were on the 1st. You've chosen differently. You've responded differently. You've restrained yourself where you once reacted. And that is power. Now let's talk about manifestation, not as fantasy, but as alignment. Manifestation is not about forcing reality to obey you. It is about positioning yourself so reality can trust you. Throughout this month, the universe has been observing how you handled tension, opportunity, recognition, and delay. This wasn't punishment. It was preparation, because what is coming next requires emotional maturity. There is an expansion opening in your near-future career growth, financial restructuring, visibility, or even relocation energy for some of you. But February was the filter. Only the stabilized version of you gets to step into that expansion. So here is your final guidance for this month. Do not rush the ending. The last few days of February may feel deceptively calm, almost quiet. This is integration time. Reflect on what you've learned. Notice how your reactions have shifted. Notice where you no longer tolerate confusion. This phase isn't about action. It's about consolidation. The universe is watching how you close cycles, not just how you start them. If there is a lingering conversation that needs clarity, handle it with composure. If there is something you need to release it cleanly. No dramatic exits. No emotional explosions. Quiet authority. Because here is the deeper prophetic layer. March will move faster. February is training your pacing. Now, let's speak directly to your emotional mirror. You may still feel moments of uncertainty. Is this really working? Am I actually progressing? That voice is the echo of your old timeline. The version of you that equated growth with chaos. But growth now feels different. It feels organized. If things feel slower than expected, trust the structure. If something hasn't fully manifested yet, trust the sequence. The universe builds foundations before it raises walls. Financially, the insights you received mid-month are seeds. Do not abandon them. Revisit your plans. Refine your strategy. Think 3 months ahead, not 3 days. Wealth energy around you is subtle, but strengthening. In relationships, you now see more clearly. You know who meets your standard and who drains your momentum. Do not downgrade your expectations just to avoid loneliness. February strengthened your discernment for a reason. And spiritually, Sagittarius, you are stepping into embodied confidence. Not loud confidence. Not performative confidence. Embodied confidence. The kind where you no longer explain your vision to people who don't understand it. The kind where your silence carries authority. The kind where you move because you know, not because you need approval. Now I want you to visualize something. It's late March 2026. Something has shifted externally. Maybe it's an opportunity confirmed, a financial improvement, a public acknowledgement, or simply a profound internal calm where anxiety used to live. That March moment is being built right now. February was not dramatic because it was structural, and structure creates sustainability. So here is your intentional activation for the closing days of this month. Each morning, before engaging with the noise of the world, take a single minute and ask yourself, what would the expanded version of me choose today? Then act accordingly, even in small ways. That is how timelines shift. Do not underestimate the power of small, aligned decisions. The breakthrough coming is not an accident. It is a consequence of your composure. And remember this, if something fell away this month, it was not a loss. It was a clearing. If something delayed, it was not denial. It was refinement. If something emerged slowly, it was being stabilized for longevity. Sagittarius, February 2026 has recalibrated your compass. You are no longer moving reactively. You are moving intentionally. The universe runs on timing, and this month placed you exactly where you need to be for what's next. Trust the quiet shift. Trust the strengthened boundary. Trust the refined ambition. Because when the door opens, and it will, you will be ready to walk through it without hesitation. If this message resonated, stay connected to celestial insight. Share this with another Sagittarius who needs clarity. And as you move through these final days of February, remember, this moment will make sense later.